Okay, for this next project, you're going to do an Aztec design, and this is an example, and it deals with learning basic composition. And what you're going to do is you're going to focus on having a center of interest, so a primary picture in your design, and then that would be kind of where your eyes go first. So you're going to have a center of interest, and then you're going to work with eye travel, and that is how your eyes move around the piece. So you will have some overlapping, and you'll have some repetition of color, texture, and line. So, and again, how this works is you have center of interest, and that would be your basic drawing, and then you'll have eye travel, so you'll have two secondary drawings, and you'll use overlapping, whether it overlaps on top or overlaps behind that beginning drawing, and then you'll have just different repetition, and that works it all together. So how this works is you'll have some steps. You'll draw your center of interest picture first, and then you'll pick two secondary pictures, and then you'll do some overlapping and some filling. So I'm going to kind of walk you through it. So first thing you'll do is you're going to pick 3 pictures. I have some handouts, and they're just some Aztec handouts, and you're going to look through them, and there's a whole file of them, and you're going to pick a primary picture. That will be your center of interest. So my primary picture is this portrait here. Then, so that one, when you draw it, so you'll draw your primary first. You will pick your picture, and you'll just have your primary drawn. It will be the biggest one in your thing. It will probably take up the most space, and you'll have some area around the edges for your secondary pictures. So this is my primary. I just went through and I found one I liked. I like to see this one, and I drew it. Now, if you look, I kind of adjusted it a little. I didn't like this part here. Yeah, I think that's about all I did. So I adjusted it, and I just basically drew. Now, it may not be exact. Like, you may find like you like this one, but then this is too long for your thing. So you may just draw it and not draw that part. Or you may draw this and not draw this part here. So you can kind of pick and kind of adjust it a little bit to kind of have it fill your space. So you'll draw your primary picture in. It needs to be large, and it needs to take up a good portion of your page, probably at least half of your area. Then you're going to pick 2 secondary pictures. So in my example, my secondary ones, and you kind of need to think of your space. I have this here, so I need to think of something that's kind of long that can fit here, and something I can kind of put on the side that goes here. So I went looking, and I found this guy here, and I kind of turned him around because he's going here, but I can kind of fit him going this way, and I turn him backwards. And then I liked this guy, and I kind of turned him this way, kind of worked him around, and you can adjust it. If your shape is this way, maybe make him long instead of round like this. Now, when you draw them, you need to think of some basic rules again. You're going to draw your center of interest, then you're going to draw your 2 secondary using overlapping and going off the page on 3 sides. This is going to be a design, so everything's going to fill the space. We're not going to have just 3 floating things and make them all separate. They're going to work together. So you're going to have your primary, you have 2 secondary, they're going to overlap so they become one picture, and they're going to go off on 3 sides. I go off here, I go off here, and I go off here. So I have 3 parts of my pictures going off the page. Now, if you have a little extra room, you may add, I had a little extra room here, so I added a little detail here, added a little detail here, and I kind of filled in this space to kind of fill in if you have a little room. Only a little. You don't want to have it all here and have all this extra space that you have to fill. You want your 3 pictures to be most of your space. So once you have it drawn, then you're going to go in and do your extras. So here's an example. Here's my primary picture. Then I had a secondary one of this like eagle and then the rabbit's head. And if you look, that rabbit was here. Now I could have done the whole thing, but did I have room for the whole thing? No, I just had room for a head. So I took a little area of it and filled my space. So once you have it drawn, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to color white, black, texture, and brown. So when I started on this one, I started going in with my white. So you go in and do areas of white. Then you go in and start coloring areas of black. This one I haven't really added any textures. I've added a little bit. I started with my dots. But on your example here, you kind of want to have even. You want to have areas of white that are throughout. Then you want to have areas of solid black that are throughout. Then you want to have textures that create like that third level, almost like a gray. If you get close, see I have some textures. I have some cross hatching, which is like a tic-tac-toe board. And you have some big, here's some. I have some big, and then I have just some dashes. I have some polka dots. I have some larger and some small dots depending on where I'm at. Like here, I have some dots that go from large to more spread out to make them even. So you'll do some white, black, and then your gray will be your texture, and then you'll have areas that are just the color of the brown. So to start, you'll pick out your primary picture, draw it in, and it should be a large area of your space. Then you'll pick out your secondary, which is here and here. It should overlap to become one picture. Then you'll do your white, black, and texture. Now your textures can be dots, cross-hatching, stripes. You'll just build them up throughout, and then that's how you finish it.